Well, thanks, Francis. Thank you, Amy. My topic is one that I got interested in because it was boring and dull, and that was some time ago, vaccines. Vaccines, as you know, have been very effective, but the battle in using them against diseases like diphtheria and typhoid, tetanus, many other nasty agents, we're all used to it and familiar with it. And I hadn't spent much time at Penn. We hadn't thought much about it, but new production mechanisms are coming along. The old way was grow vaccines in eggs. There's a revolution happening in vaccines. It is going to provide us with new targets, new opportunities, some of it fueled by advances in genomics that Francis has encouraged over these many years. So we have a revolution upon us in vaccines, which is why Bill Gates has become so fond of vaccines and what he's doing. We can now make them like beer, brew them up, not in eggs, but actually incubate the things and get significant volumes of vaccine made within days. We did this with H1N1 virus. That is an H1N1 virus brewery at a company called Novavax. New ways to put vaccines into you. So you can put them in patches instead of needles. For those of you who don't like needles, you can inhale them. Also, many new targets emerging for vaccines. The old world of prevention is starting to become supplemented, if you will, by the use of vaccines for therapy. That's Lyme disease. You may be able to treat it with a vaccine, trying to get something put into the body that can attack the agents that cause Lyme disease. We've also got vaccines around for cancer, starting to develop them for diabetes. This is also due to different technological understandings and even things like, that happens to be cocaine, for those of you who don't know, that's the Scorpion mob distribution center. You can start to find things that will block pathways for cocaine addiction, for heroin addiction. We have big areas of work at Penn in addiction, really interested in both determining who might be at risk of addiction. But everyone in the room faces challenges. We're going to have to make some tough decisions. Vaccines, historically, we're all very worried about their safety. So a lot of people don't take vaccines. In our own hospitals, we might see rates for flu vaccine of 40%. If you ask people, worried about the safety, worried about what happens. Even Nessie, our friend here in the lake, knows that you need to have evidence when you want to be worried about safety. And safety is not something that really should be a problem for vaccines, old or new, but we have to figure out ways to get the public engaged in understanding, if we're going to take advantage of the vaccine revolution in rich or poor countries, that we need to understand safety better. Efficacy. This happens to be the cervical cancer vaccine, papillomavirus. Some of you know we have a new vaccine for that. Somewhat controversial, made the new way with biotechnology, but only 70% effective against two of the strains, against the strains that cause cancer. Is that good enough to put out into the marketplace, or do we wait for better rates of success? Business has tough issues to answer there. Looking at vaccines, we have another question. Can we compel or force people to take vaccines? That happens to be an outfit that makes you take vaccines when you show up. So does the Swiss Army. Some people don't like that. They demonstrate. They say, you can't compel us as nurses or as healthcare workers to accept vaccines. This was a demonstration recently in Albany, New York, against mandates on swine flu vaccine. So who can we say has to take a vaccine? Who can we say doesn't? A potential drug addict? Someone who might be infectious and causing harm to others? A third problem, the poor. They're always with us, but we have problems of access. Obviously, Gates, with his $9 billion announcement yesterday of a commitment to more funding for vaccines, is trying to overcome the challenge of poverty, but we don't have good systems in place yet for distributing vaccines worldwide. It's a very difficult challenge in terms of getting the most out of vaccines. People who get cervical cancer vaccine tend to be rich in the West, not poor dying of cervical cancer in poor nations. And sometimes triaging vaccines is counterintuitive. Prisoners. We propose to give H1N1 vaccine to prisoners first. There's a list of a vaccine distribution decision-making set of policies that have been come up with industry and government, different agencies. Why prisoners? Because they incubate disease. But politically, almost impossible to get anybody to say prisoners first. Yet it makes very good sense in terms of triage. So to sum up, we have a vaccine revolution upon us, tremendous opportunities, but We need to engage safety questions, consent questions, mandate questions, and allocation questions. That's where we need thinking from industry, the public, and government if we're going to really take advantage of the vaccine revolution.